Hello everyone! Welcome back to the 6th episode of Sewing Snacks and Hacks. Today we're gonna talk all about sleeves alteration. Alright, I am going to start explaining how to shorten sleeve from the hem, which is the number one question I usually get. For those who aren't very sure with the term hem, basically it refers to the lowest end of the panel. And panel refers to the different section of the garment. In this case, the section we're looking at is the sleeve. Now, so back to our main topic. Normally, I hear people will mark the desired length around the sleeves, and they probably just fold it up because they want to retain the overlock stitch. Okay? Now, this method will only work if you are very certain that the panel is a straight, equal width. Okay, which for sleeve typically it actually goes smaller as it goes longer, simply because of how our arm naturally is shaped. So here's an example of how a sleeve panel looks like on a 2D draft. At this moment, you may feel it looks very odd, but this line over here actually joins to the other line. I'm gonna demonstrate. Okay. All right. There you go. Okay, and hence it forms a cylinder shape like this. Okay, so the convex curve over here essentially joins to the shoulder, and the concave curve over here joins to the underarm. And lastly, this is the position of your sleeve hem. So for example, if you would like to alter your sleeve up to the red line over here, okay, and you, like I mentioned, you would like to just retain the edge simply because there was an overlocked edge over there. What happens is, if you just fold it up like that, as you can tell, the length over here is shorter than the line on the top here. So let's say if I were to fold this into a cylinder shape, it becomes a circle form. It becomes a cylinder shape. The circumference of the two edges wouldn't meet anymore because one is longer and one is shorter. So what happens is some people, they will just force it to shape, and when they force it like this and they just sew one line across, you would either form a wonky edge, like a twisted edge, or you will see tugging happening. Okay, so what is the easiest way to see if your sleeve is actually goes narrower like this? Okay, say if you don't have a panel like this. All right, so what you can do is to flatten your sleeve first like this. Okay, keep the top here perpendicular to the hem. Okay, once you keep this perpendicular, fold it nice and flat, take a ruler and simply just measure the lower circumference of the sleeve, the hem in this case. Okay, and then measure the armpit here to the edge over here. So if over here is larger than the circumference over here, then you can safely judge that the sleeve does actually goes narrower as it goes longer. Okay, so my recommendation for sleeve alteration is not to fold up your hem more than 2 cm. Anything longer than that, I will recommend to cut the hem with a 1.5 allowance and then fold it up and apply top stitch all around. Now, I would like to also share how to mark and measure your desired length evenly. Okay, so you must have a marking tool, so be it a fabric marker or chalk is fine. Measuring tool, if you do not have a drafting ruler at home, you may use measuring tape as well. Okay, so step 1, you have to try on your garment first. Okay, put it on you and then look at the mirror and mark exactly at which point you would like the sleeve to be shortened at. Okay, so my recommendation is mark at the top of the sleeve, okay, not at your underarm. Okay, mark at the top. So when you're looking at the mirror, in front of the mirror, just take a marking tool and just mark a small stroke will do. Okay, you don't have to mark the whole entire circumference. circumference. When you're wearing the garment and you're doing marking along the circumference like this, highly likely it will not be accurate. Okay, so just simply mark a small little dot there will do. Okay, and then remove your garment, place it on the table flat like what I'm doing over here. Then use your drafting tool, your measuring tool, in this case my ruler. Measure the distance of the marking to the hem of your sleeve. Okay, so in this case it's 6.2 for mine, and then I just need to repeat that measurement along the whole entire circumference of the sleeve, just like that. So just intermittently, just a bit here and there will do, just a broken line, and then do the same over the other side. Okay, now you have marked your desired length, right? Front and back. Okay, so as I was mentioning earlier on, you need to add a seam allowance, which my recommendation is 1.5. So I purposely take another color just to color code you and show you the difference, okay? But you don't have to do it in different colors. Okay, so I'm gonna mark 1.5 down from my desired length. Okay, 1.5, and just follow accordingly. Okay, I've done on the top. I'll do the same on the back. Okay, an additional 1.5 seam allowance down from your desired length. Okay, then take your fabric scissors or any sharp scissors you can find at home and start cutting circumference. Okay, you don't cut 2 layers at one go. You have to slice it first like that. Okay, slice it from any circumference at any point, and then chop the line which you just added, which is the seam allowance. Okay, so just continue. There you go. Okay, one whole circumference neatly and even. At this point, you may think, if I were to chop off the hem, that will leave the edge raw. How am I supposed to clean off this edge without having a overlocker? So I have 2 tips for you. You can either do double fold inwards like this. Okay, this is called double fold, so you fold it once and then you fold it twice. Double fold. Okay, so in this case, because our seam allowance is 1.5, so you should fold at 0.75 each time. So simply just take your marking tool and your measuring tool again, and like I mentioned, mark at 0.75. Okay, so I'm just gonna do only the front to demonstrate. Okay, so I'm just gonna mark. All right. And then all you need to do is to fold the first line inwards first, okay, on the inside the garment, yeah, and then just double fold the same width. That's it. Okay, this is what we essentially call double fold, and then apply a top stitch on the top all around. Okay. The other tip is to use a seam tape and iron the tape all around the raw edge of the sleeve hem. Okay, the glue from the seam tape will help to refrain the fabric from fraying, so you can safely just iron this over and then simply just fold it up later and just apply top stitch all around will do. Okay, if you do not have a seam tape like this at home, you may just take any soft interfacing at home and cut a bias direction. I'm gonna demonstrate how. Okay, I have a small square over here. Okay, make sure you find where is the selvage. Okay, the selvage is the finishing edge of the fabric, of any fabrics. And then what you want to do is to take a drafting ruler or anything that helps you to measure your angle. Okay, so what I have over here on my ruler, typically a drafting ruler should have like a diagonal line that goes across like this. Okay, the diagonal line is actually at a 45 degree. Okay, so you just align the 45-degree marking along the selvage and take a marking tool and draw a straight line on the edge of the ruler like this. Okay, so immediately you got a 45-degree line, and that is what we call a bias cut. Okay, there you go. All right, and then just do a 1 cm weave will do. Okay, normally you can just get seam tape very easily from any sewing shop, but if during this period it's very hard for you to get these kind of sewing materials, you can simply make one on your own like this. Okay, and then just take a fabric scissors and just cut it out. There you go. You have made yourself a seam tape. Okay, how should you use a seam tape? First, find out where is the adhesive side of the tape. You can either see which is the glossier side, or you can feel which side has a rougher surface. Okay, so once you are able to identify the glue side, have the glue side face down on the fabric, and then you take a hot iron and iron over the tape around. The heat of the iron activates and melts the adhesive, hence the tape essentially will fuse down to your fabric. That's it. That's how you use the seam tape. Okay, we have to stop our session here today, but if you're interested to learn more of this sort of alteration tips, you can check out our alteration classes taught by our beloved trainer Malene. We are currently having a 20% sales right now. Feel free to visit our website for more information. We would love to meet you in person and share more tips like this with you. But meantime, stay safe, take care. We hope to see you very, very soon.